All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Fundamentals Rhythm Course. Yeah, here on Guitar Lines. I appreciate you guys checking it out. So let's get straight to it. What is the point? All right. Well, let me tell you. The point of this is I want you guys to have a much greater understanding of how rhythm works, especially as a guitar player. I want you to be able to learn all this stuff in a fraction of the time it took me. It took me many, many years. I read books and I took lessons and watched courses, etc. And there's a lot of good stuff out there, okay? I'm not dissing nobody. There's a lot of great stuff. However, a lot of these things took me a long time to be able to apply, right? I would theoretically understand what an eighth rest was, but how does that help me on the gig tomorrow night? It just took a while for me to be able to apply it, right? To a real world playing situation. But I eventually did, and that's where I came up with all my kind of shortcuts here. So, we ultimately want to play more interesting guitar lines, right? We want to make more interesting music. And one excellent way to do that is to get a whole lot better at rhythm, all right? So let's talk a little bit about us as guitar players, at least most of us, all right? We grew up in the pop, rock world and maybe a little metal, stuff like that. Everything from the Beatles to Metallica, you name it. But we grew up in a world that there was plenty of rhythm. There were plenty of rhythms, but they tended to be more basic, right? And in the beginning, I would hear rhythms, dun dun, dun dun, dun dun, stuff like that. And I would just mimic it, all right? I would memorize what it was and mimic it. I had no clue where it landed in a measure, let's say. I didn't know about, rests and notes, etc. I didn't know any of that. I just heard a rhythm. I repeated it as good as I could and just mimicked it, right? Here's the problem. As my taste in music grew more complex, or I would hear certain things, I would try to mimic it, and it got more and more difficult, right? So that's where the understanding comes in. Once you learn about notes and rests and ties and all these things, and you learn where they actually lie in a measure, then it's not a guessing game. Then you don't have to, listen to the rhythm 30 times just to be able to replicate it, right? And that really is the point. I want you to understand this stuff so well that you can use it at will, right? You can use it on the jams. You can use it at the campfire, whatever. Campfire, sit around guitar circle this weekend. You can use all this stuff and you can use it without guessing. You're going, oh, wow, yeah, I did get that right. Now, you want to know, okay? So that really is kind of the point. As far as myself, I'll give you a little hysteria, a little history of what really changed it for me. Besides the fact that, the ability to mimic more complex rhythms was not working too well for me, but also I started playing with better and better bass players and drummers over the years, right? And I remember this one gig. We were playing a big venue, and it was really difficult to hear, even with the monitors. Like, I've got kick drum and hi-hat in my monitor, and I can barely hear it. So I'm doing everything I can to listen to what the bass player and the drummer are doing so that I don't get off, right? And I'm listening to them, and they are having the most amazing rhythmic conversation. Yeah, they're still playing the chords. They're still playing the song that we're all playing. But man, they are having a conversation back there. They're messing around. They're doing all kinds of cool stuff. And I was like, damn, I didn't even realize, I was always, as a guitar player, we're used to kind of, especially in the pop rock world, we're used to guitar sort of floating over the top, right? And bass and drums being more of a supportive role. But not these cats. These cats were having a serious conversation, and I was like, damn, I have got to get in on this conversation. I want to know what it is they're doing so that I may converse, all right? So that's how I kind of got into it. And I got to tell you, one of the best moves I ever made. My appreciation for music is off the charts. I don't listen to it the same. I don't play it the same, right? Once you go down this rabbit hole, once you go down, you enter the universe of rhythm, you are gonna love it. It's a whole new dimension to your guitar playing and to your music appreciation. I promise. You are going to thank me one day. If you see me on the street, say, hey man, thanks, brother. So, that's kind of where we're at. The point is, I want you to understand and be able to apply and use this amazing rabbit hole universe of rhythm. And I want you to be able to do it damn quickly. I want you to be able to use the stuff right away. So that's it. That's the welcome. And let's move on. And I'm going to give you the basic premise of how we learn and apply these things really quickly. What's an eighth rest? And how can I apply it right away, sir? So those questions and more shall be answered. Let's move on to the next course and get prepared, ladies, gentlemen. Let's have fun. Yeah.